Hey guys, Fish Jackson here again with another tutorial. This time I figured I'd go over a little bit of sound design. Last night I was at a buddy's house and I ended up coming up with this bass. So it's an electro house bass, so I'll go ahead and preview what I have for you and we'll get into it. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, then stick around. I personally can't stand people that don't preview things in the beginning of the tutorial. So that was for all you guys. So anyway, let's just go ahead and jump into it. You can obviously see, first of all, that I have automation going on right here. And you can see that I have just different things in massive automated, and I decided to automate the reverb right here. So let's just take a look at the initial patch. I've also got some processing going on down here. Side chaining, reverb, auto filter, and flanger. So let's just take a look at the patch. So here's the patch I made last night. It's pretty simple. This was like my first go at trying to make some kind of electro bass. But then I remembered I could just use all my dubstep sound design pretty much. So I'm using 3 oscillators here, nothing fancy. For the intensity, I've got the bend plus, bend minus plus, and bend minus plus on here. Yes, I'm using a little bit of M-Talk. You gotta use a little bit of M-Talk. But I just have these macros separately, 1, 2, and 3 over here so I can individually control those. Which you can see over here, I actually modulated and automated inside of here. Just to kind of change the character of the sound, you know. So let's take a look at it. For oscillator 1, we have screamer set over here. It's pretty simple stuff though. We have throat over here, dirty throat. Intensity right here so I can control the range. Modern talking, of course. They're all dropped down an octave. I decided to keep the screamer up an octave because I feel like it needed a little bit more high end in the bass. So I just personal preference like that better for the sound. Some quick massive tips to go up and down semitones by amounts of 12. You can just hold down the Alt key and you can easily go through that, or you can double click it to reset it, and pretty much massive workflow. So let's take a look at the filter. Only thing I have going on is the DAV filter. I was too lazy to do anything with it. Obviously, like, you can do more with that. I've got it on different, like I got it on mix 2. I'm not even using the second filter, but all that doesn't even really matter. So it's pretty much just 3 oscillators. Just pick you 3 different oscillators. Pick the sound you like for them. And I chose to use the modern talking as the basis of the sound. So down here in the modulation oscillator, I put a touch of phase on there. I also controlled it. Also macroed it for easy use to modulate the sound. But just put a touch of phase on there. I dropped it down an octave just like the rest of these, like the main sound. Like I said, the phase is on the 3rd oscillator, which is the main sound. We got a little bit of classic tube right here with a little bit of dry wet, a little bit of drive, automatable, which I did automate in here somewhere as well. Just like I said, to make the sound evolve over time. It makes it sound really awesome. And of course, the typical dimension expander. What would you do without that? Brought up the high shelf and the low shelf a tiny touch. But just basic things like that. As far as voices go, unisono is going to be on 6. I'll put it on mono rotate and legato triller, which I'm not really even using right now, but you can use it if you'd like. Envelopes, pretty basic stuff, just really basic patch. And this is actually a really big part of the patch right here, setting the oscillator phases to get a cool sound. So I'm going to duplicate this real quick so I don't mess this up, and I will show you just how big of a difference changing the restart via gate, turning that on and off, and the oscillator phases makes. So first of all, with the restart via gate off, it sounds like this. Normally it sounds like this. With the restart via gate off, this is how it sounds. Yeah, it's kind of lame, isn't it? It's pretty lame. So we'll turn that back on. And by default, everything was set over here. And so what I did was I pretty much just moved it around a little bit, listened to it, played some notes. There's a very subtle difference. You can hear it a little bit. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much about the sound, guys. I mean, it's pretty basic. If you want to, you can go back through the video and you can pause, you know, you can pause whatever you want to and look at the actual massive patch. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside some of the simple processing I did on it. Okay, so here we go. I have everything macroed over here, like I said, so we can automate it. Right after that, we have a flanger and just an auto filter, and the compressor, which is side chaining, and then a touch of reverb. So I'm gonna turn those two off. Keep the auto filter there, that's fine. So I found this out by looking through another project, and the main bass they had, they put a flanger on it, and it gave it a lot of vowel-like vocal characteristics. So I found that pretty useful, so I tried to incorporate it myself, and it worked pretty good. So without anything on it, without the flanger on it, this is how it sounds. And then with it, and I also have the dry wet turned down quite a bit because when it's up higher, I was having some problems with my signal flow over here, so I decided just to take it down a little bit. I didn't want it clipping in the signal too much. You can see in between each task, each device, each thing that you put on here, you can see the signal flow after that. So if I were to take this down as if it wasn't on at all, you can see the signal flow is not that high, but when you turn it on, the signal flow gets pushed up because of the distortion and everything else it adds in there. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the patch. I mean, I know there are some lazy people out there, so I think I will go ahead and save this and just throw it up, and you guys can download it for free. So until next time, guys, take care. And if you have any tutorial requests, just go ahead and let me know.